Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir, doing a live episode to talk about the Miami Heat and talk about what direction should the Miami Heat actually go in moving forward. Because right now, this team is stuck in the middle. It doesn't feel like they're stuck in the middle. They actually are stuck in the middle. And that's the worst place to be in the NBA right now. We are not good enough to compete in the playoffs for a championship. We're not bad enough where we're going to get a top lottery pick right now. So it seems like the Miami Heat have been in purgatory for the past 4, 5 seasons. And I'm tired of it, honestly, at this point. So the question is, do the Miami Heat go fully young and reset, or do they keep chasing another superstar? With Pat Riley, we always know that he's going to go whale hunting, and we are going to be linked and tied to any potential star that may request a trade or seems disgruntled, or it could be a reclamation project. I don't know. But do we keep chasing superstars, or do we do what we've been doing recently, which I feel like has been just duct taping this roster with role players and other pieces and hoping that the Miami Heat culture fixes everything, the system, Spo, and it's not working right now. The Heat, one of their biggest issues, obviously, is that they never tank, which I understand. I think tanking is terrible, obviously, but I still think that it makes sense to reset when you don't have a realistic chance of winning. And so I don't think they should lose on purpose, but this Miami Heat team, they've been struggling. Obviously, they're 16 and 15, they're eighth in the East, and we don't need to tank to lose games. We're already losing games based on the way this roster is constructed. At times, the way the team is coached by Spoelstra because of injuries, obviously. We're always dealing with injuries just like any other NBA franchise. But Tyler Hero, our best player or second best player, is always injured. Missed 25 games so far this young season out of 31 possible games. He's played 6 games so far. So we know what the ceiling is of this current group, and it's starting to feel very real. This ceiling for this team is winning maybe the first round at best if they're lucky. But based on this trajectory, based on where they're at now, if they're going to finish as the eighth seed or the seventh seed, even, it's going to be really freaking tough for them to win a playoff series with the way this roster is constructed, with the way this team plays offensively. They've been struggling mightily. So for today's live, I want to break down honestly with no fan delusion, no fake optimism, no hopium, no homer mentality. I just want to be objective and answer this question. And I want to get your guys' opinion whether or not the Miami Heat can actually pick a real direction and what the smartest direction for the Miami Heat may be moving forward. And a lot of fans have basically thrown out the idea, blow it up, go fully young, and completely reset. And here's the problem. The Miami Heat, again, like I mentioned earlier, do not tank. They never have. They probably never will. And the franchise refuses to lose on purpose. They're always going to try to compete. That's what they're doing right now. They will tell you right now that once we get healthy, once we get all our pieces back together, then we'll have a better opportunity. Right now, the Heat are eighth, but they're 4 games from the fourth seed, I guess. So it is possible that a team like the Raptors, the Sixers, whoever is ahead of them right now could slip. But I don't love that mentality because, again, we've shown time and time again with Bam, with Tyler, even with Jimmy Butler, we struggled with that trio. And like Jimmy Butler's no longer here, so there's no blame on Jimmy Butler. But Bam Adebayo has been bad. Again, he's had these stints every single year where he disappears offensively. It affects and impacts his defense as well. So it's not just his offense, but there are times where Tyler's hurt. A lot of times Tyler's hurt, but there's times when Tyler Hero is out, your best offensive player, and we need you to step up in this time. We need you to help carry the load. And he simply regresses. He's not aggressive, takes under 10 field goal attempts, has had a really bad stretch, and keeps always saying, yeah, it's on me. I got to figure this out. Or Coach Spo defends him basically saying that, like, yeah, we're last year running a 5-out motion offense that's different for Bam. He's shooting threes now. His roles changed this year. The pace and space philosophy, Bam was not accustomed to that. He's more used to the DHO and to the obviously pick and roll. So there's tons of excuses for us to compete, but Pat Riley again won't do it. He will not tank. Eric Spoelstra won't coach it. The organization believes mediocrity with professionalism is better than losing for lottery odds for some reason, which I understand, but honestly, that mindset has worked for them in the past 2 decades or so. Technically, like they're still one of the best organizations, one of the best franchises. Eric Spoelstra, even though he has had rough times, especially last year and sometimes this year as well with his rotations, play calling, substitution pattern, whatever it may be, they still have a system that they've built and a winning culture. And compared to other organizations like the Portland Trailblazers, like the Sacramento Kings, like the Wizards, the Hornets, the Utah Jazz, you name it, this Miami Heat team has been one of the most winningest teams in the last few decades, up there with the Golden State Warriors. We haven't cashed in since LeBron left, and we had our big three back in 2014. So has it fully worked out, honestly, where this team has not kind of had a reset, where they went fully young, where they didn't fully completely tank? But I don't know. I don't know what this Miami Heat team could do or should do, but going fully young also doesn't completely make sense with the roster the way it's constructed today, because one, you do have talent. We do have talent. We do have intriguing pieces, obviously, on this roster. Yes, you have Tyler and Bam, who are in their prime. Tyler's 25. Bam's about to be 28, I believe. And they're totally fine, obviously. Like, they need better players around them, obviously. They need a superstar, a number one true alpha next to them. And I would be truly content with keeping Tyler and Bam. Again, Tyler, my biggest issue with him, I love Tyler Hero, but it's one, his defense. We understand that he's not going to be a good defender. He's elevated his offense and playmaking, which has helped. But his injury history, like, he can never stay healthy. So I don't understand. But anyway, there's two players that we have that are our number one and two options. And in my opinion, I think they're both number threes. You can argue that Tyler's a two or Bam's a two, but I think they're both third option on a winning team right now. And so we can't really go fully young, because when we have Bam and Tyler, you're going to compete in the East. Like, they are all-star level type players. And so we can't fully reset with both of them on our roster again. And there's also no generational cornerstone sitting there that screams like, let's build everything around this player for the next 10 years. Kalel looks great. I think he's going to be an all-star, but there's no guarantee of that, honestly. Is he going to be a perennial all-star? Is he going to be a superstar? There's no proof in that pudding yet. And also, we can't just say we're going to fully build around Kalel. He's not ready. Again, he was the 15th pick in the first round. He wasn't a top 3, top 5 lottery pick. And so it's harder to predict what Kalel is going to be, even though I do think he's going to be an all-star. So a full youth movement without a bunch of draft incentives is also not great. We only have 2 tradable picks in the future, I guess, but we do have some picks that we can. I think we have our pick for next year. Or actually, no, we don't have our pick for next year, because that goes to the Charlotte Hornets, unless the Terry Rozier whatever investigation allows us to get our pick back, but I doubt that's going to happen. So we'll see. But yeah, we don't have a clear superstar prospect as of right now. Like, the only option would be a Giannis, and I lean that direction. I don't think we should go fully young, obviously, or fully blow it up at this point. So the Heat are always in the superstar business. They're always trying to win a championship, and they're always looking to add someone. And the name that keeps circling right now is Giannis, obviously the Greek freak. But here's the issue. Giannis has not demanded a trade yet. There's no guarantee he ever will. And until that moment comes, everything is just speculation. And Miami can't build its entire future or hopes around a maybe. And we've seen this movie play out before with Damian Lillard, with Kevin Durant, with whoever. Miami is always a preferred destination. They're always lurking. They're always monitoring the situation. They're always named as a team that a player would want to go to, and then nothing happens. So while swinging for a superstar is the correct philosophy for this Miami Heat team, it's also the hardest path. It's the least controllable. Like, unless you're the freaking Lakers, like, how often does a team get a new superstar? Honestly, like, it's very difficult to obtain superstars, MVP caliber type players, unless you're the freaking Lakers, who get the LeBron Jameses, the Anthony Davises, the Luka Doncic's, whoever. It's really tough to get a top tier player, and the Miami Heat just don't have that track record, especially of late, of adding these superstars. So if we have a chance to get a superstar, if for some reason Edwards, Joker, whoever, Giannis is available, you push all your chips in and you go for that. I think, again, because again, we can't go fully young with the prospects of Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo on this team right now. We're still going to be competing in the East like we are right now. Yes, again, we are 16 and 15 in the East, but we are literally like 4.5 games from the third seed. And so this team, might have the pieces now to finally get a superstar, I think, but it's still going to be a tough option. And another option the Miami Heat can think of is, do we add role players or some other, maybe not superstar or former stars, the John Morants, the Zions, if available, or just 3-and-D wing players, the Cam Johnsons of the world, the Bruce Browns of the world, like whoever that may be available, the Cam Thomases. Oh God. But adding role players at the deadline, is that something that the Miami Heat can do as middle ground? Can the Heat add high level role players before the trade deadline? Maybe, but here's the uncomfortable truth. Most realistic trade targets don't change this Miami Heat team's ceiling. Most of these guys are not going to be good enough to change the trajectory of the Miami Heat's season. It's the way the roster is constructed. So you might improve your shooting. You might add some size. You might add some help on the bench in terms of scoring and defense. But does that turn the Miami Heat into a true title contender? Probably not. You're fixing the symptoms, not the root cause of the problem. And that's how you end up just being a tough competitive team in the East who makes it to the playoffs and who gets swept in the first round by the Cavaliers, or a team that can maybe win the first round depending on matchup and lose in the second round, instead of being a real threat in the East. So that's going to be the biggest issue, is whatever direction we pick, it's not going to be smooth sailing or easy unless we get like a Giannis or an Anthony Edwards, which again, I don't think is possible. This Miami Heat team has been linked to these guys so many times in the past and nothing has happened. So the big elephant in the room, I think, now is, do we trade Bam Adebayo or Tyler Hero? This is the part that fans don't like to talk about, or the ones that do, because these are our two most polarizing players on our roster. Tyler stands hate Bam Adebayo for some reason. Bam stands hate Tyler for some reason. Like, I don't understand why you can't like both players or root for your team and enjoy the players that you have to a certain degree. But these are our most polarizing players. And I've seen guys say trade Bum Adebayo. People hate Tyler Hero and think he's worthless. And so at some point, Miami has to ask itself, is this core good enough to win a championship? Is Bam and Tyler good enough to be your top two? The answer is no. We saw that last year when Jimmy was gone. Yes, there was the whole distraction of that, adding new pieces at the trade deadline, getting Wiggins and whoever, Davion Mitchell, the Terry Rozier debacle, which we're still dealing with, injuries, guys in and out of the rotation, sure. But still, I don't think they are good enough. We saw that last year. We're seeing that this year. We're seeing that because it's not just about their play when they're healthy, but their injury history. Both are hurt right now. And that's one big issue, maybe the chemistry, but just they're not good enough as your number 1 and 2 option to win a championship. That's why I think you add Giannis to this team and keep Tyler and Bam. If you could somehow trade Jovic, Jaime, Cass, Kalel, and Norman or Wiggins, whoever, trade everybody and you keep Tyler, Bam, and Giannis, I would love that. That would be intriguing right there, because then Bam could be the defensive anchor. He can get the rebounds. Giannis is going to be your dominant paint player, obviously, and your force. And then you have Tyler Hero, who's going to be your playmaking guard, who's going to be able to spread the floor, hit the three ball, get to the rim. Obviously, you leverage that floater game. I would love that right now. But what, excuse me, what do we do with Bam and Tyler? Do we trade Bam? Do we trade Tyler? Or do we somehow trade both? Again, not because they're bad players, not because they can't technically help you win games, but because they might be your best path to a real reset, to a true superstar, or for a true superstar, or just for allowing this team to go even younger and actually develop and lose. But again, the Miami Heat can't do that. They're not going to do that. But the Miami Heat can't keep thinking we are one move away. We are one player away while refusing to touch the pieces that actually have value. Because again, if Giannis does request a trade, if I'm the Bucks, I'm asking for Bam. And honestly, the way Bam's been playing, I love Bam. He's my favorite player on the Heat. You trade him no matter what for Giannis. He's only 3 years younger than Giannis. Giannis is still in his absolute prime. Yes, he's been dealing with the injury bug the last few seasons, but he hasn't had injuries which knocked him out for entire years. But Giannis is still MVP caliber type guy, averaging 28 points, like 12 rebounds, 5 assists, a block, a steal. He is someone that changes your franchise overnight. So do you think about trading Bam for a superstar? Yes. If it's that type of superstar, yes, it depends. But yes, do you trade Tyler Hero to get a Giannis type player? Of course you do. Do you trade Tyler Hero to get John Morant or Zion? No, definitely not. Because I don't think those guys are necessarily better than Tyler Hero. Those guys are just as injury prone, and those guys have bad attitudes. Tyler Hero has the work ethic at least, and wants to be healthy and wants to win and wants to improve and has a good mindset. Like Zion is just cooked. John Morant is a head case. So I wouldn't trade Tyler for those guys, but for any other superstar type player, then I would definitely trade a Bam or Tyler. So should we trade both of them? Honestly, probably not. But if this Miami Heat team continues to stay in as a play-in team year after year after year, this would be the fourth consecutive year that the Miami Heat would be in the play-in if the season ended today. And we already know they own the Hawks and the Bulls in the play-in. So we are the play-in champions of late, obviously. But if that's the path we're going to continue to go down and stay in the middle, be mediocre, then you have to explore trading one of Tyler or Bam and get 6, 7, 8 draft picks for them. And then that's your full reset, where then now you have the opportunity to play Cass. You have the opportunity to play Kel'el Ware. Kel'el Ware is playing 24 minutes per game, which is kind of ridiculous. Like Andrew Wiggins, who's not part of this future, who's fine, who's a good two-way player, is averaging the most minutes on this team at 33 minutes. And it's still not mattering because we're not winning. We still suck. So why give those 6, 7 extra 8 minutes to Andrew when you can give those to like a Kel'el or Pelle Larsson, who came back last night? The Miami Heat finally won a game, beat the Hawks. They've won 3 out of the last 12, 10, whatever it is. Like we're 3-10 or something in our last 13 games, something horrible. And play Pelle Larsson, who's only averaging like 23 minutes per game. Give Jaime, who's averaging 28, even more minutes. Like if we trade one of Bam or Tyler, that gives us that opportunity. Trading both gives us a full opportunity for a full reset, which again, we're not going to do any of this. This is all just speculation. But the Miami Heat, they need to pick a direction. Where I land is the Miami Heat need to commit to whatever direction that may be. No more half measures, no more blended builds like they've been doing. If a real superstar becomes available, you push all the chips in no matter what. You go for it. And if that moment never comes, then you seriously start evaluating resetting the timeline by even trading away guys. You're not going to trade Bam and Tyler. That's fine. I don't necessarily want to trade them. I want a superstar next to them. But then if you can't get a superstar, you look at trading Powell. You look at trading Wiggins to get capital for those guys. You look at hopefully getting Terry Rozier off this roster as an expiring contract. But you move those guys to give Pelle Larsson an opportunity to play, to give Kasparis Jakubonis more time to play, to give other guys other opportunities to play. Like figure out, either get a superstar or trade one of Bam or Tyler or both, or keep the team because Tyler and Bam are winning players theoretically, and you get rid of Wiggins and Powell that are not going to be part of your long-time future. Make Bam Adebayo be the senior citizen on this team. We only have a couple of older guys on this team now that Jimmy's been gone And now that a few other pieces are off this team, Kevin Love, UD, whoever, now our older guys are Norman Powell at 32 and Andrew Wiggins at 30, 31. Get rid of those guys, honestly. I love Powell. He's been great. Get a first-round pick. You build your team through the draft. You also make trades through draft capital, which we need. If we want to get Giannis, trade Wiggins to the Lakers for a first-round pick. Give us Dalton Connect. Give us Rui. Give us whoever so we can get more ammo to trade for a Giannis if he becomes available. Okay, and then add him next to Tyler and Bam, and then that's your big three right there. But if you can't get a Giannis and you still want to keep Tyler and Bam, which is fine, we've got to deal with the Tyler extension. I know he's not eligible for a Supermax now because of his injury history and because he's missed 26 games, but then you have to put the right pieces around Bam and Tyler. And again, I still don't think that's the right direction because you're never going to win if Bam and Tyler are your top two. You're never going to win. You need that number one superstar that is going to be the guy who is going to be able to get a bucket when it's the clutch time in the fourth quarter, when defenses tighten up and lock up players, and when role players are inconsistent and turning the ball over and not being clutched down the stretch. That's where you need a true superstar offensive player. I was hoping Tyler Herro could have been that. We're hoping for him to stack up back-to-back all-star seasons and see if he can continue to develop and grow into a potential superstar, but he's always hurt, so we can't see that. So we need to pick a direction, and we need to figure this out because I'm tired of watching this team be mediocre. I want this team to win a championship. This is a championship organization, and if we have the best coach in the NBA, we need to give him the best talent, and we need to figure this out. So I'm going to take a look at some comments. If you guys want to drop a super chat, that would mean a lot to me. There's 30 folks in the live right now. Thank you so much. Let's start from the top. We have Lennox Wilson saying hello. Just subbed. Thank you so much for the support. We got Ali Kazimi in the house. We have the Duck family saying nice. You're smart. Thank you. Appreciate it. Well, we have Black Man MAGA. I'm gooning it. You're live, grown ass man. Okay, thank you so much. He says F the Heat twerk or something. Okay. Lakers kicked their butts in 2020. That's true. They actually did. What's up, Van Lee? I got Van Lee in the house. One of my favorite supporters in the house. Appreciate you, man. How are you doing today? Black Man Maggot says Jimmy Butler was y'all's best players and he's a joke. Okay, that's cool. Van Lee says Kalel cannot be the quarterback of the defense. It'll be a very long season without Bam. I 100% agree with that. Bam is still is our best player. Obviously, he's our defensive anchor. But his defense has been not that great over this stretch, to say the least. Van Lee says Pella is a connector. His production makes me cool with letting go of Wiggins. I agree. Lakers looking desperate. Austin is out for a month. I didn't realize that. I saw Austin Reeves did suffer an injury. I think it was a calf or hamstring. So they definitely need a 3-and-D type player if they want to compete in the competitive West. Layla says your childhood friend went off yesterday. 9 bombs, 31 points. Perfect backup, big for us. We'll love him to come in a quiet trade. So you're referencing Brook Lopez. That was crazy that he hit 9 threes last night. Obviously, that was a career high for him. Huge game for Brook Lopez. Kawhi Leonard could be interesting. I mean, honestly, Kawhi, Tyler, and Bam could be a really fun trio to watch. But Kawhi is literally always injured as well. His knee is cooked. He's playing well right now while healthy. While healthy, he's still obviously a very good NBA player. Layla says Tyler plus Rozier equals Kawhi plus Brook plus CP3 works in the trade machine. Well, CP3 is not on the team anymore. They waived him. But would Clippers ask for a pick? They would absolutely ask for a pick, honestly. And that's something we would not be able to really afford, especially with Kawhi, who's always freaking hurt and who's, 33 at this point? He's still amazing, though, honestly, when healthy, but he's never healthy. She asks, and would you start Wiggs, Bam, Kawhi as the front court or start Ware and break up? I would have Wiggs come off the bench, honestly, and have Kalel Bam start as well. And Kawhi would be at the 3, which would be an amazing upgrade over Andrew Wiggins. RH6761 says, what's your thoughts on the Rusty Trombone recently uncovered from the 1980s. Okay, interesting. What would you trade Giannis for, Rusty Trombone? I already mentioned what I would trade Giannis for. Everybody, anybody, and everybody on this Miami Heat team. Bam for Giannis saves us so much assets. You would send less picks and youngsters, but we would basically be the Miami Bucks. I'd still take that over what we currently are right now. Um, we'll see. James says stop making sense. The FN Armin, can someone explain to me why you're always talking about draft capital when we've had 7 first round picks and none of them have made all NBA? So why is getting rid of Wiggs, Bam, Hero a team of GA and still won't go, huh? The draft capital that we had is not lottery picks. Like early, we need a top 3, top 5 lottery pick to change the trajectory of our team. We need a Cooper Flag. We need a Wemby. We need a Stephon Castle. We need someone who has superstar potential. And that's very hard to find round 14, 15, or not round, but pick 14, 15, 16, 18, 21, 28, whatever the hell the picks we've had. Vanley says Giannis is unfortunately back tonight, 3 weeks early. He's actually playing tonight. That is shocking. I thought he was going to be out longer, but the Bucks want to win some games. I mean, what are the Bucks right now? The Bucks are 12 and 19 at this point. I mean, they're only 4 games behind the Heat for the 8th seed at this point, which is kind of sad to think with Giannis missing so many games and that team having no real talent on the roster. But anyway, that's all I have for this episode. I don't know what direction the Miami Heat are going to go in, but this is not sustainable. If we're going to continue to try to compete with this team, we're going to continue to be a playing team at this rate. We need to figure this out. I think we sell at least Wiggins during the trade deadline to try to get more draft capital and try to add pieces that fit, because the way the roster is constructed is not working, in my opinion. And I think that's going to be the most realistic route, is testing the trade waters to see what Andrew Wiggins can get you. Even in Norm Powell. Some people will hate to say that, but we're not winning anytime soon. I want to see Davion, Kalel, KJ, Pella, Nico, even because of his damn contract, which is horrendous now, and Jaime get as much playing time and as much potential for growth and development this season to see who could be a part of our future. I mean, honestly, the way this team is built right now, we are primed, I think, for a superstar type guy to come in as that number one option, because we are drafting well, honestly, with our picks that we've had. Again, Jaime at 18, Kalel at 15, Cass, was he at 18 or whatever he was? Cass, Jovic, besides this year at 28. We've been drafting some good pieces. Pella Larson in the second round, like at 55, 54, whatever it was. We're building a foundation, and we've already built that with Tyler and Bam, where we just need to slot in that star. And if we don't do that, then we need to be bad for a couple seasons, like the Thunder, like the Spurs, who were a very similar team, winning organization, one of the best coaches in the NBA with Pop, who's not playing, who's not coaching anymore because of his health. But still, you had Popovich coaching this young team. They knew that they had injuries that they were dealing with. DeJounte Murray, they traded him away also eventually, but they just knew they had to like reset, and they were bad for a couple of seasons. And look what that got them. They got Wemby and Castle and Dylan Harper for those 3 seasons. The Thunder also got Chet, got Jalen Williams. They traded for SGA. They're bad for a couple seasons. They got their 2 lottery picks. Look at them. They've won a championship. The Heat need to go all in for that superstar immediately if they can, which is also very hard to do. Superstars don't grow on trees. They're not always available. Excuse me, they're basically never available. So you might have to figure out ways of getting assets by gutting the roster, trading away some certain pieces, and letting the younger guys actually play. Because if I do pull up before I close, if we look at the minutes across the Miami Heat's rotational players, then you'll see how we can lean in a little bit and do this little soft kind of reset and development. So Andrew Wiggins, like I mentioned earlier, he is averaging 33 minutes if you round up, the most on this team, right? So he's playing 33 minutes. If we go to the bench, we have Fontecchio, who should not be in the rotation, in my opinion. He's playing 19 minutes. Drew Smith is playing 17. Cass is playing 16, which I'm happy to see, but I want to see Cass's minutes go up by completely eliminating Fontecchio. He does not deserve to play unless there's more injuries because he started off really hot from three, but he's been dog shit of late. So his 19 minutes need to go to three players, in my opinion. Spread some to Cass, spread some to Pella, and spread a little more to Kalel. Kalel, where the way we lean in right now is playing Kalel where 32 minutes per game. Throw him in the fire. Give him that opportunity to grow and to develop and to figure it out. He absolutely needs those minutes. Pelle Larsson, he is our glue. He exudes Miami Heat's culture. He is like our Swiss Army knife. His defense, his tenacity, his ability to get to the rim. Once he learns how to improve his offense, which I think he will, he is someone who needs to be playing 28 minutes per game. So distribute those minutes from Fontecchio to those two guys, basically. Cut down some of Wiggins' minutes. He's not going to be a part of our future. We're not winning anyway. Play him like 26 minutes per game. Give him like 27. And then give some more of those minutes to Jaime. Give Jaime 33, 34 minutes. Let's see what Jaime is made out of. Give a few more minutes to Jovic. Hell, I don't know. Figure this shit out. Take away some of Drew's minutes also. I don't know if we can fully eradicate his minutes. He's obviously a great player, but we already have a Drew Smith in Davion Mitchell, who's our starter, who's a better player, and who's a younger point guard. He's 26. I think Drew's like 28, 29 already. So just give Cass as many minutes as possible. Give Pella, give Kalel, give Jaime, and then see if Nico's playing well. If he's not, pull him based on his confidence. If he's confident and he's hitting his shot early on, that will dictate how he's playing in those games. We just need to do something different because it is clearly not working right now for this Miami Heat team, and we need to pick direction. So let me know what you guys think. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel for more Miami Heat content. Thank you.